want to bring in News Nation's Evan Lambert right now, joining us with more of a White House reaction, what they are saying about the incident. Evan?
Yeah, Natasha, so I was just sitting in the White House briefing just moments ago, and a question on this developing active shooter situation came up in the briefing room. White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre said that this was all unfolding, breaking as she was getting ready to come out and speak to the reporters that had assembled here. So she didn't have any detailed information about what was going on, but she was asked about the frequency and the level of frustration personally from the president at having to answer questions, put out statements about the level of gun violence that we're seeing in public places where multiple people are shot or killed. Take a listen to what she said.
We're monitoring the situation. We'll have more information. It's an ongoing, very fluid situation. As far as I understand, I don't know what else has occurred since we've been out here. I want to tell the public that we urge them to heed guidance from officials and keep themselves safe. Please keep yourselves safe as the situation continues. So just want to be very clear about this, and don't want to speak to this directly because we just don't know exactly what is. I know there's a shooting, but we don't have all of the information. It's very fluid. So, look, is the president frustrated about what we're seeing in our communities, in our schools, in our churches, in this epidemic that we've seen, this gun violence epidemic? And this is yes, of course he's frustrated. This is a president that has taken historic actions the first 2 years, executive actions, signed, as you mentioned to me, a piece of legislation that was bipartisan, and it was the first legislation that we had seen in 30 years to deal with this issue. But we know that more needs to be done. We know that Congress needs to take more steps to deal with the violence that we're seeing, again, in our communities, our schools, our churches, which just should not be. Should not be. American people should be able to feel free to go into a grocery store, to go to church. Our kids should feel free and feel safe, and our teachers, administrators should feel safe to go into a school. And right now, we're seeing weapons of war on our streets, which should not be. And so we've been very clear about Congress needing to act, and I think we're all frustrated. I think there's parents out there who are frustrated. There are Americans out there who are frustrated and who want to see an assault weapons ban, which reduced mass shootings when something that the president led on in 1994. We want to see common sense gun law reform, whether it's requiring background checks on all gun sales, requiring safe storage of guns, eliminating immunity for gun manufacturers who knowingly put weapons of war, again, on our streets. These are the things that we want to see Congress act on.
So the press secretary outlining the president's priorities on gun violence that did not get into that bipartisan bill that was signed last June, the first significant gun legislation in 30 years, which really focused on expanding background checks, money for mental health, money for states to implement red flag laws. And after each one of these shootings, you typically do hear the White House call for an assault weapons ban. So you heard that just moments ago from the White House press secretary there. Obviously, in this situation, it doesn't appear that that is the kind of weapon that was used. But after each of these shooting situations, the White House will come out with a request for Congress to pass that assault weapons ban because they are used in so many of these shootings that we have seen. But again, that is the reaction, the latest reaction from the White House, saying that the vice president, the president have been briefed and are getting updates on this unfolding situation there in Atlanta. I should note that the FBI has not responded to our requests for any statements at this point, but they typically will respond to scenes like this in coordination with the local police. The Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms as well will send folks to the scene of these major shooting situations to be able to assist local law enforcement and do all the pieces of the investigation that the federal authorities can help in. But again, we have not heard any updates at this moment from federal authorities, and the White House saying that the vice president, the president are monitoring the situation and renewing a call for Congress to take more action on gun violence. Natasha.
Okay, we really appreciate that update live from the White House. Evan Lambert, thank you so much.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.